happening, people? We are here. We are live. Oh my god, I had to close the windows in my studio space because there's just kids outside making a lot of noise. So I hope it don't get too hot in here with all the stuff that are running. But big up to everyone locked in, man. You guys know what it is. Happy Wednesday. We're here. Daily streams. Today we're switching up a little bit. We're making it a little bit interactive. I want to do a little scout talk. We've been linked to a couple of players. We're going to talk a bit, of course, about the transfer news coming out today. As of right now, there's nothing about Erik ten Hag's future at Manchester United. I saw a little report saying that it should be kind of finalised and a decision should be reached by the end of this week, and it won't go past this week. Now, everybody online wants to be at ITK. Everybody online wants to be in the know. I'm seeing people saying 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock tomorrow, Friday evening. Listen, when there is news, we will talk about it. But for now, we're going to focus on the other side of stuff relating to Manchester United, and that is the transfer side of things. Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe if you've just come through. We're going to go through a little scout report. I put together some of the best pieces, the best articles that I can find on particularly the centre-backs that United have been linked to. And of course, in particular, there's two that are on the tongues of Manchester United, in Goncalo Inacio and Leny Yoro, young player from France versus another one, where's he from? Portugal. From Portugal. So that is the vibe that we're going for. That's how it's gonna be. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comments section as well. Big up to Anthony, big up to Keegan, big up to Super Arch, big up to everyone locked in. Anthony says, I saw a report saying that Erik ten Hag is mutually making a decision to walk away from all of these confusion and waiting. I wouldn't blame him. He's being held in limbo. Big up to Spiritual says we need 2 starting centre-backs. I don't think a lot of people are kind of convinced with Lisandro Martinez as of right now, obviously with his injury problems. Now, I have turned on my post notifications for Manchester United, just in case whilst I'm live, there is any news. And I'm going to need you lot to keep me in the loop as well. I don't always update my socials. I don't always keep an eye out on Twitter whilst I'm live. So if there's anything out there, I hope people will come through in the comments section. But we are going to start with, I think, just the biggest, not the biggest news, but the confirmed news of the day. The confirmed news of the day. Manchester United put out their list of retaining players, the players they're retaining, the players that they are currently in contract negotiation with, and the players that they are letting leave on a free. Manchester United confirm that Jonny Evans and Tom Heaton is currently, both of them, ongoing talks regarding a possible new deal for the pair of them. Tom Heaton, I can't really be mad. I don't think I've ever seen him. Have I? I think I've seen him play once in a preseason game. Jonny Evans, for me, seasoned professional, experienced professional. You need people like this in the dressing room. So I wouldn't be too mad about it. I wouldn't be too mad about it. If you lot watched the stream that we did a couple months back, I did say that I would keep Jonny Evans just because you need that in your dressing room, especially with Raphael Varane gone. You need that experience. You need that professionalism. You need a win. You lot might not like it in it, but if he's on low wages and low requirement in terms of when he will play, when he's needed to play, I think this season is kind of like a freak season, I would say, just because he probably came in and Erik ten Hag probably brought him in not with the expectation that he would play so much and not with the expectation that he would probably be that there'd be so many injuries. A few other players have been announced that they are leaving. Amari Forson reportedly was offered a new deal, but he's not taken it. He's chosen to leave. I guess playing time is a big part for him. Shola Shortire, another player, Shola Shortire, another player that is in talks for a new contract. I just don't get it. Why are you just going to waste your time just sitting around? And why are United wasting their time? I get he's an academy product, but United have never really got anything out of him. He had a little loan spell, I remember, last season at Bolton, got injured, and I haven't really heard anything from him again. Another one, Brandon Williams. You lot know me and Brandon Williams got... I can't stand the guy. I cannot stand Brandon Williams. But he's another player that will be leaving on a free, of course, on top of that. Anthony Martial's leaving on a free, and Rafael Varane. So those are 3 players leaving on a free. Soufiane Amrabat, there's not really any news about his loan spell, if it will become permanent. I'm sure once there is some news about it, we will hear about it. But directly from Manchester United, this information has come from them. So it's only right we kind of start with that. Now, I'm going to go on and I'm going to start with probably, I think, the hottest topic right now, just because there's quite a few Premier League teams involved. Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. Big up to everyone. Big up to Hasnain for the super chat. Says, hi, it's your friend Usman. Big up to Usman. I hope you're doing well. I heard rumors Erik ten Hag was supposed to get sacked today. Hope you reply to my email soon. I will. I promise I'll reply. Biggest fan. Love your show. Thank you so much. Thank you for the contribution as well. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy everything we're going to talk about on here. Now, this week kind of touched on it yesterday about Michael Olise, with Chelsea expected to meet with his representatives in the next couple of days, probably at some point during the week. Now, with that, they are taking aggressive measures to ensure, reportedly, that United do not sign him and that they get his signature. Now, if you lot remember last year, before he got a buffed up contract at Crystal Palace, they were willing to pay his 35 million release clause, and he signed a new deal with Palace, which had a bigger release clause. So I think Palace probably said to him, you know, they're going to pay your release clause of 35 million, but we'll give you a buffed up contract for 1 more year and then a release clause of 60 million, and then you can leave next season. And that's what he took. And it's no secret that Chelsea have been interested in him. It's not a secret. I think he'll be willing to stay in London. Now, David Ornstein was talking about it earlier today on the Athletic Football Podcast. If you lot don't listen to it, I highly recommend. It's a daily podcast that they kind of put out at the Athletic during the transfer window. And he said that I've always been led to believe that Champions League would be the step that he would take after Palace, but that's not ruling out a really exciting project. Right now, United and Chelsea don't really have anything to offer him that is including Champions League. Now, obviously, United can offer Europa League, Chelsea can offer Conference League. Which one would he be? I mean, bro ain't really played in Europe, so like, come on, bro, come on. At least just do 1 year in Europa. However, you lot know my stance on Olise, so I'm gonna try to be as, you know, neutral as possible without making my opinion kind of drip into it. I think there's a lot of factors in this that Chelsea might kind of come out on the stronger side. And that's not me saying that United don't have any pull. That's not me saying United don't have any pull. But I think United are so early in their project right now. I mean, we don't even have a face of a project. We don't even have a face of a project right now, i.e. a manager. And I think maybe Ineos are trying to move away from that idea where the manager is the face of the project. But right now, Chelsea are a bit ahead in terms of the project that they're building. Chelsea have a bit more pieces in place in terms of their team, in terms of their squad. Of course, they're selling players. You know, Conor Gallagher, they're talking about excess of 50 million. What? We can't even sell McTominay for 20. We can't even sell McTominay for 20, but they're looking to sell him for 50 million. They're trying to offload a load of players. And I feel like, I said this yesterday, Chelsea collect wingers like it's Pokemons. Like, they literally run around with a Pokeball and they just collect. You got braids, they're gonna dash a Pokeball at you and collect you. It's actually quite funny. It's quite funny. However, I do think that Olise will probably lean more towards Chelsea because there's been that kind of previous contact in prior years. You know, Ineos reportedly have been interested in Olise. I think that's what we've been hearing. Braid stacks. Nah, it's braid stacks. They got the same braider at Chelsea. All their man at Chelsea got the same braider. Olise don't even have to move his hairstylist from South London to the other side of he ain't gotta move to Southwest. He ain't gotta move his braider to Southwest because he could just use the braider that Chelsea hire at Cobham. But I feel like with everything that's happening, he's just gonna go there. And it makes me think, actually, do United even need another right winger with all the positions that we need to fill? Yeah. And we're going to come to Jadon Sancho because someone just mentioned it in the chat. Jadon Sancho is on the topic of discussion today. But with all the positions that United have to fill, is spending 60 million on a right winger really the right choice to start the transfer window with? I'm not too sure. Would you lot be mad? And this is a question to all of you lot. Would you be mad if United missed out on Olise because of A, money, or B, because they don't want to get caught in overpaying, because if he's going for 60 million for his release clause, what's his wages going to be? What's his wages going to be? That's the big question. That's the big question. I think he will ask for a bit of money. He'll ask for that kind of bump in money. He's going to look at his fellow wingers and be like, yeah, Sancho's earning this much. I think Ahmad is probably the poorest out of all of the right wingers. But Sancho is, I think Ahmad is on like 20k or 25k or something. So I do think that, you know, I've never been sold on Olise, and it has nothing to do with injuries. I think he's a great player. I just never understood how he would fit into Manchester United. So that is the current situation with Olise. Now, just on the topic of other players that United have been kind of talking to that could be possibly going elsewhere, is Benjamin Sesko. I saw an article maybe like 3 days ago that said that he was going to Arsenal, and it seems like he's still within discussions. It looks like it's still within talks. But Fabrizio Romano today said that Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea have all approached Sesko since March-April. Saudi is off the tables, despite the fact he was offered, 30 million net salary. That's a lot. That is really, really a lot, but he turned that down. He's also got a contract offer on the table from RB Leipzig, but I do think he will probably leave. I think Arsenal is the likely place for him. If there was actually anywhere that if there was any opportunity of him coming, I mean, you look at the three teams that he's linked to: Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United. You have to have a very good project and a very good way to sell the project. If you are taking a player from a Champions League team to and one of your opponents is another Champions League team, i.e. Arsenal. I think, and this is not the Arsenal talk, this is not Arsenal transfer news, but I think Arsenal are really one good striker away from making a heap of... They're going to make a lot of steps forward, a lot of progression. So I do think, you know, Benjamin Sesko will probably likely end up in that direction. It's 7 o'clock, guys. Let me check I don't want to get caught up in this stuff, but I'm seeing people saying 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I'm just going to double check if there's any news. There's nothing. There is nothing. We'll come back again at 8 o'clock. Yeah. I even got my post notifications on for if there's any news. And when I'm saying if there's any news, guys, I'm talking about the news surrounding Erik ten Hag. I'm seeing a fake account. It's so funny. I'm seeing a fake account circulating of Manchester United, and people are actually falling for it. Like, guys, come on, man. In the world, we live in the 21st century, man. How are you lot falling for this kind of stuff? How are you lot falling for this stuff? But before we kind of get into... Actually, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's go. Let's start with Jadon Sancho talk. Let's start with Jadon Sancho, our UEFA Champions League finalist. Dortmund are broke. People are dumb as I fall into that. Low-key, I fall into it because I be believing that it's gonna happen. I be believing. I'm just trying to make sure, because I'm not gonna lie, guys. Yeah, the one time I missed the biggest news in Manchester United over the last couple of years, it was Cristiano Ronaldo joining Manchester United. I missed that because I was out for dinner with my friend, and when I go out with my friends, like, I put my phone face down. I don't look at it. So maybe like 3 hours later, we were sat there for a long time. We had a lot to catch up on. We ate, had dessert, had tea, all of that stuff. I got in my car, got home. It's only once I got home, I looked at my phone and I just saw all the news about Cristiano Ronaldo like 5 hours later. And at that point, it was too late for me to react to it. So I just try and make sure that I don't miss out on that. But on the topic of relevant news is Jadon Sancho. Reportedly, a permanent transfer is too expensive for Borussia Dortmund. I saw even a report that said that they have a summer budget of 60 to 65 million, but they will ask Manchester United for another loan. I'm going to be so brutally honest, and I want to hear you lot's thoughts. If they can negotiate another loan deal for Jadon Sancho, what do you think the loan fee should be, and what should be the percentage of salary covered by them? Because I'm not going to lie, where's all the money that we gave you when we brought Jadon Sancho? Where's all the money that you got when you've sold Jude Bellingham? because they didn't spend luxuriously in the summer when they sold Bellingham. They didn't spend out of their means. They didn't spend out of their means. I know these men got money. These men got money. They're trying to pull our leg. It's like Eid, you know, guys, when it's Eid or it's Christmas or, you know, any holiday that you celebrate and your relatives trying to tell you, I ain't got money, man. I can't give you money, man. Go away. I know you got money. Stop lying. It's payday. It's payday. Pay up. These lot got a bag for Jude Bellingham. The year before that, Haaland. The year before that, Jadon Sancho. You got money. A couple years before that, Ousmane Dembele. These lot make money. Aubameyang. How many people have they sold for stupid? How many people have they sold to us for crazy prices, guys? Let me not use crazy as a description, sorry. How many times have they sold players to us for some absurd price tags? Kagawa. Or what could have been with him, man? Mkhitaryan, Jadon Sancho. And you want me to believe that you don't have money. You just got to the final of the Champions League. I know that there's a bonus for you in there somewhere that you can flip and pay up. This, I don't think you can't have your cake and eat it too. Basically, that's what I'm trying to allude to. Jadon Sancho is in really three situations. There's really three outcomes, I think. It's either A, he leaves Man United for Dortmund or somewhere else. B, he stays at United and Erik ten Hag leaves. And, you know, because I'm not saying he stays because Erik ten Hag leaves, but I'm saying that's what's going to happen. Or C, he stays at United, Erik ten Hag stays at United, and he's just never going to play. And I don't think any of us are going to let an asset just rot away like that. So I think it's one of the two. It's going to probably be, he has to be sold. And for me, he cannot be loaned out again. You cannot be at this stage of your career just getting loaned out. That is, I'm not at Jadon Sancho's level. I know you lot, some of you lot don't rate him. I think some of you lot feel like he's fell off. But I genuinely think that at the level that he should be at in football, he's not there, but the level he should be at, consistently playing, etc., at a high level, he should not be going from loan to loan. He ain't no teenage boy. He ain't no teenage boy trying to get playing time at his club. He should be fully starting for a team consistently. And for that, if he cannot get a move to Dortmund and they are genuine that they don't have the monetary funds to do such thing, he has to get his agent to get him a move somewhere else. He has to do that. Let me see what you lot are saying. Ridwan says Dortmund are frauds in many aspects. Dortmund can give us 30 million at least. Well, how serious are they about Jadon Sancho? Because if they are truly serious about him, yeah, Marco Reus is gone. You need you clearly need a Sancho in your team. You should have a bit of money to spend on him. Give us half of your budget, maybe 60% of your budget. I can't lie. Jadon Sancho has to go for 40 million for me. That's the price tag for Jadon Sancho. They got 25 million for Bellingham winning the Champions League. There you go. And you know what's so funny, guys? I completely forgot that Bellingham used to play for Dortmund. There was no talk about the fact before the game that he was playing against his former team. There was barely any talk about it. What are you saying? Buy now, pay in 30 days or pay in installments. He's a vibes player. Nah, he can be Jadon Sancho can be a good player in the right environment. I think that's, unfortunately, not all footballers are like that. When you're one of the best, like when you're a top footballer, you can perform in any environment. But Jadon Sancho is not, he's not like that. He has to be in the right environment. Man's a least football. Imagine just getting rented out. You're just getting rented out left, right, centre. A loan with an obligation of you lot are taking it a bit too far. Loan with obligation. Yeah, obligation to buy would make sense. Not well, what's the other one where is you have to buy him? Obligation is a choice, no? English ain't my first language, guys. You know I'm gonna say that in it. But English ain't my first language. But there is the one where you have to buy him after the loan spell, regardless of if mandatory, yeah. Is that the obligation is the one that he must be bought? Okay, so option to buy is the other one. Option to buy is the other one. So it could be an obligation to buy, but even then, it's like, what do you set your fee at? Because what happens if United set it at a low price and then come next season he has a F-off season in Germany? Excuse my language, but he has a blow up season. Like he 20 assists, 15 goals. And he wins player of the match, like he wins player of the month like 4 times in the Bundesliga. What happens then? They've kind of shot themselves in the foot. United should kind of have shot themselves in the foot. Maybe we can make deals Lukaku to United, Jadon to Chelsea. You just collect. I told you, Chelsea just want to collect all the right wingers in the world. Sancho gonna have to grow his hair out and get braids. He's gonna have to do that. Need 40 million at least. For me, it's like I don't see how people say that they would take 20 million for Jadon Sancho, 25 for like your dislike for him as a player must be so low. Like you must really dislike Jadon Sancho to say that you would take a low price for him. Because for me, 40 is minimum. 40 is. I'm seeing in a world where Conor Gallagher is being priced at 50 plus. Yeah, and you're telling me I can't even ask for 35, 40 million for Jadon Sancho. United are never getting back what they paid for him because they overpaid in the first place. That was beyond overpayment. But they have to try and recoup some funds somehow. And rather than, for me, letting the asset rot on the bench or rot in Carrington where he's not playing, you're better off trying to get something out of it. And Dortmund, for me, broke boys, when I act like broke boys, we're going to treat them like broke boys. That's funny because we, Man United, are broke boys right now. We are broke boys ourselves. But let's not get into that. Sancho Sterling swap, no thank you. Sterling has passed his time. He's still a good player, still an elite player from the ends as well, but he's not the Sterling that he once was at City. And personally, guys, why the guy played for City, Liverpool, then he comes play for United, Chelsea. Nah, that would never happen anyways. It would never happen. It's his wages. That's true. That's the thing is, like, United will have to, I think, take a hit in two ways. They'll have to take a hit in the wages. They'll have to take a hit in the transfer fee. They will never recoup his transfer fee, and he will never take a pay cut because that's his contractual right that he has. He will never ever take a pay cut. And what he will do, what United will have to do is they will have to pay for some of his wages. They will have to pay for some of his wages. Like that's the only thing that would make sense. They wouldn't have done it for Harry Maguire last summer when he was kind of linked. When he was linked to, where was he linked to? West Ham. So for Jadon Sancho, they're gonna have to look at it and be like, is it something worth us doing? Is it a situation worth doing? Now, some like additional stuff with this is that it's very unlikely that Dortmund will obviously keep him on a permanent. They would love to keep him, but not to the extent that they'd actually buy him. That is the funniest. Guys, when I read that, I had to go read the full piece because I said there is no way that he actually that Dortmund sources have actually said that. They said they would love to keep him, but not to the extent that they'd actually buy him. They're window shopping right now. They are window shopping, and Jadon Sancho is standing there looking cute in the window, but they ain't stopping. They ain't stopping for him. That's disrespectful. That is absolutely a violation. That is, if I was Sancho, I'd be offended. That means that they don't want him as much as they claim that they want him. They just want him at a cheap price. If they turn around and bid 10 million for him and United take it, that's the only reason why he's ended up at Dortmund, is because they basically paid a very low figure and United accepted it. And I hope that for that sake, and obviously for the fact that he's worth more than that, that United don't kind of take it. I hope they don't. There's no way that I'm buying this story that Dortmund have no money, because then we're going to see them spending in the summer transfer window. But one thing about Dortmund is they always do spend quite reasonably. Let's look at their outgoings. Let's look at Dortmund transfer incomings. Let's look at their incomings over the last couple of years and what they've paid. I'm quite curious to see what they've paid and what is the average price of what they buy. Cool. Let me. I always hate this stuff, man. I hate ads always popping up on the side of my screen. Let's have a look. Last season, the most they spent was 31 million on Haller. Then it was 30 million on Adeyemi. So they don't. Let me not make an assumption. Obviously, let me not make an assumption. The season after that, the season before that, 30 million on Malin, 15 million on Cobble. It looks like 30 million is around the price that they always pay. Look at this, Jude Bellingham, 30 million. They went on and sold him for, how much did they sell him for? 103 million. That's a 70 million profit. Jude Bellingham, 30 million. The year before that, Hummels, 30 million. The year before that, some guy called Abdou Diallo, 28 million. These men don't spend. Now that I'm looking at their track history of spending money, they don't spend like that. The most that they've spent was probably Ousmane Dembele for 35 million, which is still in and around. Guys, I've gone back nearly 10 years. I've gone back nearly 10 years. Immobile, 18 million. Mkhitaryan, 27 million. 35 million on Ousmane Dembele is the most that they've ever spent. It's the most that they ever spent. So what makes us think that they are truly going to spend a lot on Jadon Sancho? They're not going to do it. But for me, it's a violation, them saying we would love to keep him, but not to the extent that we'd actually buy him. That's a bit mean. Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. As I mentioned earlier, if there is any Manchester United news whilst we're live, I will react to it live and direct, but I do not anticipate that there will be much. I'm not going to lie. People are so funny. They're taking the piss. People keep posting like the clock emoji, the timer emoji. Bro, Eric Ten Hag is on holiday, man. Just leave the poor guy alone. Just let him enjoy his holiday with his missus. Like, you lot are just being a bit of... I get it. Everyone's getting impatient. So their record transfer was Dembele for 35 million, and they sold him for 135 million. Get out of here. Oh my days. Literally, all they do is spend small and sell big. If I could do that as a businesswoman, yeah, because I like to think of myself as a business. When you're a content creator, guys, you're a businesswoman, yeah. If I could do what Dortmund do, I would be traveling around. Right now, I'd go buy myself a Lamborghini Urus. I could easy do that. These men are peak, like they are true African parents. They're true African parents. They're saving money. They're saving money. What they're doing, I don't know. Maybe they're building a house back home. I don't know. But 35 million being the most that they've spent on a player is hilarious. And we wonder why United won't be able to get 40 million out of them. I think we would be lucky. To get 25 million. I think we would be lucky. Minna, you are so disappointingly very less critical of your fellow Brit SJR, which is so sad. Brother, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I don't know. If you want to troll, go do it somewhere else, because I'll time you out again. Meanwhile, we spent 80 million on Anthony. Let's not even start to compare it. Compare it. Dortmund's scouting and recruitment, yeah, their scouting and recruitment is top notch, man. When I'm looking at all the people that have come out of their squad just in the last 10 years, who they brought in for peanuts, yeah, people they brought in for peanuts. And it's jokes because Nuri Sahin used to play for them and now he's their assistant coach. But obviously Mkhitaryan, Aubameyang, Marco Reus, of course, Gundogan, Perisic, Lewandowski, Shinji Kagawa, man. I had high hopes for that guy. High hopes for that guy. To be honest, historically, they weren't really buying players like that. But it's crazy. You know what's funny to me, guys, is Marco Reus was the first time they spent double digits on a player. They were spending 3, 4, 5 million on players. They were going to places like Club Brugge, etc., etc. Even in the 2011-12 times, they were going to small. They brought Lewandowski from some small team, and the only time they started paying double digits for a player was with Marco Reus, nearly 10 years ago, or not too long, like 10 years ago. So maybe they're similar to feeder clubs like the RB Leipzig, etc., where they buy for small and they sell for big. That it is what it is. I hear it. But big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe if you just come through. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content as well. And of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. Now, halfway in through the stream, bam, I've timed it just perfectly. Today, we're switching it up a little bit. We are going to do, a little scout talk. I want to call it scout talk, where we're going to talk about 2 players that Manchester United reportedly have put in bids for or are preparing to put bids in for. And we're going to try compare them and see what exactly it is that makes Manchester United want to get them. Now, one of them, of course, is Goncalo Inacio. Spoke about him very briefly yesterday on stream, but today is reported that Manchester United are preparing a proposal that will reach 51 million. That's his release clause. His release clause is 60 million euros, so that's about 51 million pounds. But Manchester United are preparing a payment, or they're negotiating a payment strategy of 51 million. United will negotiate with Sporting so that the fee can be paid in installments over time. Klarna settings. We are on Klarna settings, guys. If you're not from the UK or just from Europe, Klarna is, I don't even know how to describe it. You pay as you go kind of thing. Like you can buy something and pay later, basically. The contracts are ongoing. The offer will be submitted in the coming days. Now, he's not the only centre-back that we're linked to. We're linked to another one called Leny Yoro. We're going to do a bit more of an in-depth kind of analysis of him. But I was very curious, about this guy. So I thought, you know what? Let's see what he's saying, because I've read a little bit about him. I've seen him once or twice watching Sporting, but he's never been a player that I thought United would go for. I was very sold on the idea of Todibo. I know that United were looking at Branthwaite. Is Minna watching comps? It's not comps, it's analysis, scout talk. We're analyzing, guys. We're analyzing, yeah. I had to find the best of the comps that I could, yeah. Just because, like I said, I'm keeping it a buck. I'm keeping it a buck, yeah. He seems like he's very. Firstly, right. Let's go into position. Right-sided centre-back. It looks like that's what United are going for. It's reported that United are looking to buy 2 centre-backs, which makes sense as to why Yoro and Inacio reportedly we've put in bids for both of them around the same price, meaning United could possibly spend 100 million on 2 centre-backs, which kind of I understand why they could potentially walk away from the Olise bid. Because if they're spending 100 million on 2 centre-backs, they ain't got another 60 million to spend on a right winger until, I would say, they probably sell someone. But he's quite tall in stature. He's on YouTube. Anyone looks like Messi. Haha, this ain't YouTube, so the joke's on you, Imran. The joke is on you. But let's see here. Put a ball in, gets on the end of it. That's what centre-backs do, though. So I can't get too gassed over that. He can read the game quite well. He can, but I'm not gonna lie. What I've read about Leny Yoro, he looks like the real deal. He's quite young as well. Inacio is a bit older than him. He is a bit older than him as well. Leny Yoro is like 18 years old, so that's my only concern about him being quite young. But I wonder what this means for Lisandro Martinez, because he's a left-sided centre-back. Are United really going to go out and buy a right-sided centre-back and a left-sided centre-back? Then what does that mean for Lisandro Martinez? Could Lisandro Martinez be on the chopping block this season? Because he's been there for 2 years. Spent a whole year pretty much injured. Highlight comps can be deceiving. 100%, guys. I don't say go by completely this. We've got some stats as well, some graphs that we're going to go through as well to kind of look at the bigger picture. Not just with Inacio, but with other centre-backs that we've been linked to as well. But this kind of gives us an idea of what you're getting. This kind of gives you an idea of what you're getting. But I don't know. Left-sided, I think he is left-footed, of course. Gets forward quite a lot, which is interesting to me because I didn't know that we were looking for a player that gets forward a lot defensively. I'm seeing him on the halfway line quite often, quite forward. 51 million as well. I'm thinking, I'm not too sure about that. However, the next player, let me see what you lot are saying quickly. You lot are saying rotation. Oh, Lisandro Martinez will be rotation. I'm more looking at Lindelof, to be honest. He hasn't been playing at all. I think Lindelof will be on the chopping block this season. I think they'll sell him. Yoro is more or less ready, not an average 18-year-old. Now, when I was researching about Yoro, not just on comps, but I've read a lot of articles, a bit of analysis as well, looked at some data. Very interesting. We're calling him they're calling him Baby Varane. They're calling him the next Saliba, which I think is a big compliment. I think the next Saliba is a big compliment for this guy here. But Manchester United have reportedly put an offer on the table of around 51 million euros for him. Now, we've got some comps, we've got some analysis, but I want to start with the analysis. I want to start with the analysis because, you know me, guys, I like numbers, I like stats, I like data. I like data. If you're new here, you will learn that about me. But 2,518 minutes played for an 18-year-old. He's played 89% of the minutes available for Lille this season. Of course, I don't anticipate high numbers of goal contributions, etc., etc. Now, what we want to look at is the defensive side of stats. We want to look at the defensive stat. Aerial duels won 96.4. He's only 6'2". He's only 6'2", and he's won 96% of his duels in over 2,500 minutes in the season. That is the first thing that stood out for me. Passing accuracy was the next one that stood out for me. 96% passing accuracy. And this is why I was saying yesterday, guys, Manchester United need to spend and shop more in the French league, because we don't do that enough. When it comes to physicality, the French league, players from the French league, I think, can easily adapt to the Premier League. And we can look at players that have joined other clubs from the French league as well. And we can maybe see if any of these lot join Manchester United. We can analyze that as well. But 96% pass accuracy and 96% aerial duels won. Those stood out to me. Received pass per 90. So this is the number of passes that he receives, that he successfully received across the 90 minutes. That's in around the 80% mark, which is good, which means he can read the game well, which is what I actually read quite a lot about him. I'm not going to lie. Every time I read a piece about him, and we're going to go through some of the pieces as well, just to go through it in depth. A lot of it said that managers were very impressed with the way that he reads the game for someone so young, and the way that he can adapt in game to tactics, etc., etc., which for me, that's always a plus. That's always a plus. Now, defensive duels won is just around the 75% mark. Not too bad. That's not too shabby. And dribbles per 90 is around those 60s. Now, he is someone that clearly likes to get involved in the game, whether it's through building up, getting involved in the build-up, passing, etc., etc., or defensively doing his job. I saw a video of him scoring like a volley or something, and I was like, raw. I was just like, raw. Like, that's actually pretty. That's pretty. His tech is pretty decent. Now, shout out to Goal for this great piece. I love reading Goal, one of my favorite websites, and they do some good videos as well, talking about Leny Yoro as well. Where did he come from? Where did he go? What is his background? Firstly, YouTuber showing charts. I'm not a YouTuber, firstly. I don't like that term. I don't like the term YouTuber. I like charts. I like data. If you're new here, I said it already. I like data. I like stats. I like numbers. That is the best way to analyze, as well as the eye test. You can never go wrong with the eye test, but data as well is also another way to look at stuff. Cynic says, guys, we're only signing one centre-back this season. Evans, another season incoming. There's no way United let Varane leave and then don't sign a centre-back. Like, I fully believe United will sign one centre-back. I feel like last year we ended up with Jonny Evans because we had a number of centre-backs available. We had Varane, we had Lindelof, we had Lisandro Martinez, Maguire, and then Jonny Evans came in on a free. We had Luke Shaw in that makeshift centre-back thing. So they could have... The Glazers kind of sold that idea to Erik ten Hag. But this year, it's very clear that United have to sign a centre-back. Whether we get 2 or 3 is a kind of different conversation. But United will end up with, at least for me, one centre-back. It has to be that. Otherwise, we're kind of effed. There are a lot of links to Real Madrid with Yoro, though, but they have enough centre-backs as it is. It's reported that I saw an article that was saying that he is actually not leaning towards Real Madrid. I don't know how true this is, because Real Madrid come knocking and you go. But playing time is a big thing for him, and of course he'd be lower in the pecking order. Now, at the age of 18, by the way, that is so young to spend. I mean, we spent 70 million on Rasmus Højlund, but I think with a centre-back, the risk is more justified compared to a striker. In my opinion, anyways. Is Evans signing a new deal? Yeah, if you missed the stream, Manchester United are in talks with Evans. They are in talks with Evans with a new contract on the table. I think he might move into like a coaching role. I don't know. Something tells me he might move into a coaching role. But for a bit of information on Leny Yoro, who is he? What's his background? All of that stuff. I know you lot probably don't care about that. But he is based in France, but originally from Ivory Coast. He's been at Lille Academy, progressing through since he was a child. Now, I'm not going to go through the nitty-gritty stuff of that, but I'm going to go through his strengths. Before we get to the comps, before we get to the highlights, and before I get cooked again by Ovi for looking at graphs. The manager at Lille praised him for his maturity and technical abilities, as well as the academy manager highlighting that his ability to read the game and follow tactical instructions. And this is what I said when I was researching about him. It seemed like that is what he was best at, his ability of reading the game. And I think he probably gets a lot of praise for that because he's so young. Because he's so young, you probably don't anticipate a young player to be like that. The same way Kobe basically gets praised for doing the stuff that he does. Leny is a quick learner. He wants to excel and has a real interest in analyzing different situations and understanding them. This is what the academy manager was saying about him. He says his anticipation and understanding. Yoro stands out for his ability on the ball and has an aptitude in starting attacks from defense due to his knack for dribbling his way out of pressure. If we go back to that graph or that table, that pie chart that we were looking at, he had like 65% successful dribbling per 90. So it's very clear that he likes to get involved in build-up, which is probably what United need. Rafael Varane wasn't the best at that, but he made up for it in other aspects. When Lisandro Martinez is not playing, when Lisandro Martinez isn't playing, we miss a centre-back that's able to do that. Victor Lindelof, not very strong at doing that. So I understand why United are looking at a player that kind of has that kind of ability. Now, he's also praised for his striking abilities as well, but, you know, he's a centre-back in it. I don't expect my guy to be scoring screamers left, right, centre. Now, if there is any room for improvement, which it's suggested that it is, he says he's blessed with good height, so that's a good thing. And he needs to bulk up physically. I mean, 18 years old, 6'2". The physicality of the Premier League is serious. Like, it is serious. So if he comes to United, he needs to get in the gym with Garnacho and them. Garnacho, Kobe, all them, man, all the under 20s need to be heading to the gym altogether. However, some other possible positivities about him: he's got a good sense of movement and good timing when it comes to his aerial play. As he's more on the back foot, he needs to improve. So he's being compared, like I said, to two people, Rafael Varane and William Saliba. That's interesting to me, given the fact that William Saliba didn't really play at Arsenal until he came back from his loan spell. If I'm not wrong, he didn't play until he came back from his loan spell. He did do well on his loan spell, which is why he was probably promoted to the Arsenal team, and we've seen how important he's been over the last 2 years. In terms of his defensive territory, where he kind of occupies is obvious: right-sided centre-back. Look at this. This is where a majority of his involvement comes. He's able to cover over here on the left-hand side, but he is a right-sided centre-back. Now, it's interesting for me that there's reports of Manchester United making a bid for him, because for the last 12 months, all I've heard about is Todibo. That's all we've heard about for the last 12 months. All the talk has been about Manchester United going for Todibo, signing Todibo, 40 million for Todibo, blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. And now it looks like they are moving away from that for a younger player that costs a bit more money. That's it. And I'm very intrigued by that, because given Manchester United's relationships with the likes of, you know, Nice, etc., etc., I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Ridwan coming through with some stats saying Leny Yoro versus top 5 under 21 centre backs. He's pretty much first or second in everything except for tackles. He's fourth. He's first in passes, accurate passes, aerial duels. He's second. Accurate forward passes. He's second. Accurate long passes. He's third. That's not too bad. He then goes on to provide some more stats saying Leny Yoro is the only under 23 centre back in the top 7 leagues. Top 7, not top 5, not top 3, not French. Top 7 leagues. Who the hell falls into the top 7 leagues? It's England, France, Spain, Germany, Portugal. Guys, who else falls into the top 7 leagues? Am I missing someone? France, Germany, Spain, England, Portugal, Italy. Yeah. Italy, and what's the Netherlands? There you go. I had a brain fart moment. Sorry guys, I had a brain fart moment. But he's the only under 23 centre back in the top 7 leagues to rank in the 90+ percentile for aerial win rate and forward pass completion. That is pretty decent for an 18-year-old as well. All these stats are meaningless. What? If you're gonna say wallahi, spell it right, because we're using God's name there. Listen, stats are not meaningless in it. I think for always, if you're going to analyze a situation, you need to have 2 things. You have to have data, stats, whatever, and how you understand the data, how you interpret the data, and then you have to have, obviously, the eye test. Now, for some people don't like stats. Back in the day, me growing up, when I was a teenager watching United dominate, everything was eye test. Everything was eye test. But the world has evolved, and we live in a very data-driven world. There's a reason why Manchester City have one of the biggest data departments in their club. There's a reason why Manchester United are now developing a data area in their club. There's a reason why in any sector you work in the world, you could work in the public sector, you could work in the private sector, you can work wherever. Data is a big thing, and how you interpret the data, that leads to a lot of decisions that's made in the world, guys. I get it. Some people don't like data, but don't say that it's kind of meaningless, especially the era that we live in. I will say you have to go off 2 stuff. You have to go off the eye test, and you have to go off of data, because some of these stuff you don't see with the eye test. You don't see it. You're not going to sit there counting the whole time how many passes somebody makes. You're not going to do that. You're not going to sit there and count how many aerial duels they've made. You ain't going to do that either. I missed the eye test era. Honestly, the eye test era made me think Nani was the best player in the world, guys. The eye test era that I grew up in is the reason why I have so many Nani shirts. For me, he was so frustrating to watch. If Nani grew up, yeah, if Nani was in this day and age of United, he would have, I think I would have been saying to sell him. I would have been, but because I grew up in the time where stats and data and all of that kind of stuff wasn't really a thing of debating football, understanding football, or forming opinions, I was just watching him dribble and do kick-ups against Arsenal, and I was just like, wow, this guy is amazing. He is the best. He is the best. Eye test error is what makes Jordan the GOAT. Jordan, this is the thing. I could argue this all day. Like, I argue this every... This is the easiest way to start an argument at family gatherings, yeah, is who's the basketball GOAT. Because football is one thing, innit? Football is one thing. But basketball, you have one person arguing Jordan, you have one person arguing Kobe, you have one person arguing LeBron, then you got that random person that's talking about KD or Steph. Yeah, Steph Curry. Me, I'm the one that's always arguing Kobe's point. I'm always arguing thing. And what comes into help for me? Data, stats, to get my argument across. And you know what happens when I always argue with my cousin about why Kobe's better than Jordan? My cousin always says, you didn't grow up in the era of Jordan. That's always the way to end the argument. Big up to Footy Judge Mo, big up Mo. Go check out his channel, guys, if you haven't. Phil says the data should confirm what your eye tells you when you're watching the game. 100%. When you're watching a player, data should not change your opinion, but rather support it. It's like it's like an additional, what's it called? What's evidence? It's like additional evidence. And listen, Kobe said Jordan is the GOAT and he learned from him. Says Kobe didn't believe what he was saying. He was being held hostage. He was being held hostage. For me, actually, you know, the thing is yeah, I can argue Kobe Jordan for the rest of my life. Like, that's one thing I can argue all the time. It's when people bring LeBron into the conversation, and I'm like, stop doing that. LeBron is not on the same level as Kobe, and he ain't on the same level as Jordan. And I hope a lot of people can agree on that. Yeah, I hope a lot of people can. Ten Hag sacked. Nah, you lot are taking the piss. Mo is lying. Mo, man, why are you lying? Mo, don't do that. Mo, don't do that. Haram alaik. Don't be lying in the chat, man. Don't be lying in the chat. I was about to drop out of my chair. I don't think we're gonna get news, guys, anytime soon. If I'm being honest, I don't really think we're gonna get much news. There's still people with fake accounts running around trying to make it seem like a decision has been reached. Luka Doncic, is that goat or unicorn? I can't even see that emoji. It looks like the goat. Steph Curry is the GOAT. Steph Curry is not the GOAT. Steph Curry is not the GOAT. Steph Curry is probably one of the best shooters of all time. Probably so. But he's definitely not the GOAT. Umar Barada is Mr. Data. Hopefully he dashes Anthony then. I think Anthony don't stand a chance. Yeah, I don't think Anthony stands a chance. How are we getting distracted, guys, from the scout talk? Fucking hell, man. This is the thing. I get distracted too easily. Breaking news. Minna wants to keep Ten Hag demanded a decision by the end of this week, so we might get a news by Friday or Saturday. Have I got plans on Friday? This is so annoying, yeah. It's like every time I'm thinking about making plans, I have to think what happens if there's United news whilst I have plans. But what happens if there's no United news and I cancel my plans? Like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. Like, you can't win. I can't win at this point. I really can't win. Yoro has a higher ceiling than Saliba, and he's Varane's replica in a younger body. But my only problem is the league he is at. I don't think that should be a biggest issue, the league that he's in. You know, we've seen players come from that league many a times and adapt quite comfortably. Just record a video, Minna. No need to go live. Now I have to go live. If there's news like such, I have to go live. All right, let's run this clip, guys. Let's run this clip and see what this comp is saying. Let me make sure I turn down the volume so I don't get penalized. This is Comp Watch. Man, like another brother with the braids. Him and Olise might fit in together quite well. They might fit in quite well. Oh, look at him dunking on people. Okay. Picking up the ball. Good pass. Right-sided pass. Not bad. Not bad. All started from him. That goal started from him. Tom McDermott put... let's pause this. Tom McDermott put eyes emoji. He broke the Ole sacking. I don't know what that means. Everyone can put eyes emoji right now, guys. Wallahi, should we test it? Yeah. Should I tweet eyes emoji and see how many people react to my tweet? People will be like, "What do you know? What do you know?" Like literally, that's all that happens. That is all that happens. Did he tweeted eyes emoji 8 minutes ago? And look, I told you, everyone's just saying the same stuff. Do it. Should I do it for bats, guys? Eyes emoji. Or should I do the timer? The was the upside down, the hourglass one. I don't want to because I don't want to feed into that hype. I don't really want to feed into that hype. Minna, you rate this guy more than Jared. I don't rate. If I was to rank what I've watched of these people, and again, data comes into it, articles come into it, analysis, etc., etc. If I was to, I would put Branthwaite not that high up in my list. Personally, I wouldn't put Branthwaite that high up. Then we're rating Branthwaite. Look at that, stepping out, getting the interception. This is why they're saying he's baby Varane. I might be able to get behind this. Let's see how he reads this here. There you go. Long legs don't care. Long legs don't care. He just literally sticks a leg out and he gets the ball. Maybe I can get behind. Guys, the comp is moving me. The comp is moving me. Also, the fact that I have heard people talking about in the last couple months. But for me, it's just how young he is. Look at that. Look at that. He's reading the game well. Premier League, though, you're getting booked for that. Pay the euros for euro. Let's see how he gets across. Bah! Yeah. I'm moved. Which is low key. I'm thinking it could be something behind that. I'm impressed. Sister Minna, this player has the minerals. He's got a good pass on him as well. I remember Onana looked great on comp. Onana is good. I watched Onana a lot before he joined Everton. I could vouch for Onana. I could always vouch for Amadou Onana. I just think the situation he's in and the Sean Dyche ball is just not for him. It's just not for him. Guys, what are we saying? What are we saying about man like Yoro How much is the price tag? The price tag that they've apparently put on the table is 41 million. Apparently it's 41 million. I'm not sure how true it is. Oh, we've got another comp here as well. Let me check out this comp. Oh, this is bright. This is bright as hell. 18-year-old playing consistently at top 5 league is impressive. 100%. 100%. I think that's what we're underlooking as well. That's what we're underlooking. I can get behind Yoro, but I need Fofana from Monaco to partner Mino. We cooking. I can get behind that. I've been saying for ages as well, we need to get Fofana. Look at that. He's got some aerial ability on him as well. From set pieces. He can read the ball. He reads the game very well. And that's one thing that he's been praised for so much. He's been praised for that so much, is that he reads the game very, very well. Look at that diving header. I don't care about the fact that he's playing in the French league. Like that, for me, the French league is a top 5 league. Look at that volley. Look at that volley. Look at the way that he took that. Oh my days. It's from the 6-yard box, but still. Look at that, guys. Look at that. I don't want to turn into a comp master, but look at this interception here. He gets across without touching the player. He gets across without touching the player. Certain man would give away a penalty. Look at that. Look at that. Crunching tackle. He gets across quickly to the left-hand side. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold, guys. Bring him. I'm sold on him, guys. I'm sold on him. The only reason why most fans are Leny Yoro in is because Real Madrid was linked to him. If not, trust me, he wouldn't be trending as much. I don't think that's the case. And maybe it's because, similar to, like, I know they're saying he's baby Varane, but I know that United were, Sir Alex Ferguson spoke to Varane before he left Lens, and he ended up picking Real Madrid. Have we made a bid for Yoro? Yes, we have. Well, I don't know if we've made a bid per se. The news is that Manchester United have put an offer on the table of around 51 million. It's reported by Marsa. If you know, you know. And that's what I'm saying. It's looking like United might spend 100 million on 2 centre-backs. They might be spending 100 million on 2 centre-backs. Now, and I know you lot are going to hate me for this, but if we compare right here, just like for like, oh, Yoro ain't even in this. Yoro is not even in this. But you know who's in this? Branthwaite is in this. Goncalo Inacio is in this. Castello Luqueba, who I was talking about at RB Leipzig, is in this as well. You look at this and you think, oh, all of them got... The thing is, a lot of the centre-backs we've been linked to have different, traits and different things that they have high ceilings in, and then different things that they might struggle with. You look at this here, Branthwaite is probably one of the best when it comes to the duels, best when it comes to defensive actions, etc. But his aerial percentage is not that good in comparison to someone else. You look at the likes of Inacio, his passing is way better than everybody else. You look at Luqueba, and Luqueba is the only one out of all of them for me that he doesn't have any big standout point where it's like he's quite equal in a lot of places, especially in passing, etc. His duels quite well. His aerial percentage very low in comparison to the rest of them. But for me, if United are really moving forward and buying 2 centre-backs, and this is a question to you lot, yeah, this is a question to you guys. Are you happy if United sign 2 centre-backs for 100 million combined, but that means you don't get Olise? Let me know if that's something you'd be happy with. I still cannot believe that Chelsea are asking for 50 million plus for Gallagher. How is that real, guys? How is that real? Tariq says no. I'd be happy with that. It's the key area we need fixing. That's what I think. I think it's the most important place. Like when I think about Olise, I just think United, we've got bigger fish to fry. United have bigger fish to fry right now when it comes to right wingers. For me, a centre-back has to be the first person that Manchester United buy. That has to be that really has to be the first person that Manchester United have to buy. Everything else will kind of fall in line. But last year, I feel like United set a very, very bad tone. Excuse me, I need to sneeze, guys, but the sneeze is just not coming out. United set a very bad tone last year with the transfer window being linked to Kim Min-jae for so long, to Debo for half the window, just to end up with Jonny Evans. I think it would be a statement signing as well if Ineos come out and sign 2 centre-backs for relatively decent fees. I think 50 million for 2 centre-backs is decent. Of course, you look at the scope of it and you think, a young player, 18 years old, are they worth 50 million? But what did Sir Jim Ratcliffe say to us? Sir Jim Ratcliffe said, we don't want to buy Mbappe. We want to buy the next Mbappe, i.e. we don't want to buy a ready-made star. We want to buy the next star. Yoro is probably a testament to that. He might not be a ready-made star now, but he can possibly be. Fofana, for me, is more on a good talent. He's not going to be a star, but he's going to just be a good player that gets the job done. The price is not the issue for the 2 defenders. My concern is the experience of the 2, especially in the Prem. I mean, you look at players the centre-backs that have come to the league, Ruben Dias, Van Dijk, etc., etc. They adapted pretty well. And they came from different leagues. As it stands, we can't. We don't even have a manager. We do have a manager. We do have Erik ten Hag is the manager of Manchester United, guys. Erik ten Hag is the Manchester United manager. So we do definitely have a manager right now. Leny Yoro is too thin for my liking. That's why they said that he needs to bulk up. They said he needs to bulk up at 6'2". He's only 18 as well, so he can definitely continue to bulk up as well. Fillmore says 100%, and I do believe we need a player with Olise's talents. Ridwan says 2 centre-backs, a DM, 1 left-back, a striker, or is that too much signings? I think we need even more than that. I think we need a central midfielder. I think we need a central midfielder because Christian Eriksen, for me, he's not it. He's not it anymore. He's lost the legs that he had. Of course, he's gone to the Euros he's going to the Euros this year. So is Denmark in the Euros? I think they are. I think they are in the Euros. So he'll be getting some playing time. Hopefully, we'll be able to sell him personally. Ever since Jim, I've been seeing so many João Neves links. By the way, I watched Neves that other day. Crazy central midfielder, very well rounded, just too expensive. 120 million is never happening. I will be so shocked if United ever spend that much again on a player. Like I feel like, guys, no disrespect, but I do think Ineos are gonna be low-key scroungers. Is that the right term to use? They're gonna be tight with their money. I think they're gonna be tight with their money. They're not gonna look to be. Eriksen just scored, just as I said that. Oh my god, it's the curse of the commentator. It's the curse of the commentator. Literally, I just saw it now. Manchester United just tweeted. So Man United, we know that they remember their Twitter password. We know that Manchester United do remember their Twitter password because they just tweeted saying a late goal for our midfield maestro. It's literally, that is the curse of the commentator. That is my, guys, when I was at the Champions League final, I was cussing. I didn't put it in the stream, but I was cussing Carvajal the entire video. Yeah, the entire video. And then when they came up for the corner, I said to my sibling that was with me, I said, if this Carvajal guy scores, because just before that, he had a header that just went over. I said, if this Carvajal guy scores, I was like, I need to shut up in it because I was cooking him all day. And then sometimes I just need to shut my mouth. Honestly, I just need to shut up sometimes. Do you think Olise turned out to be Zaha version 2? I think if he stays at Palace for too long, I think he's got the ability to definitely higher end. I want to say he's got a high ceiling, but if he stays at Palace, I think it won't be good. Now, talking about fake news, guys, yeah, just very briefly, I was going to talk about it today, and then I found out it was actually fake news. A journalist lied about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer becoming the new manager of Besiktas. I'm trying to see. Somebody put Wallahi, like who's the journalist? All the tweets are gone. ESPN was reporting, yeah, and there was a specific journalist at ESPN reporting that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was set to become the Besiktas manager. Within about 2 hours or so, within an hour after that, Besiktas announced Giovanni Van Bronckhorst as their manager. It's like they said, F this. There's people out there linking us to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We are about to, we're going to put out the news earlier than anticipated. I could have stopped laughing. Rob Dawson, there you go. It was Rob Dawson. Rob Dawson at ESPN put it out saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was joining Besiktas as the new manager. Wallahi, guys, in an hour, Besiktas announced it. That Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. You know what's funny also, yeah? Before we kind of go wrap up the stream, guys, isn't it funny that players that you grew up watching becoming managers? I'm just like, how? And when I saw Nuri Sahin the other day sitting on the touchline with Dortmund, I was just like, bro, a couple years ago, I was buying you in Football Manager because you're an old experienced player that was good for the dressing room. And now you're a coach. When I see people like Van Nistelrooy, Robin Van Persie, I'm like, you were a big part of my childhood growing up watching football. How on earth are you a manager? And you know what blows my mind even more? And I know this is going to sound really stupid, right? But when I grew up watching football, footballers were always older than me. And now I'm older than them. I know, I get it, guys. It's part of age. It's a part of life, innit? You get older. But it's just weird how growing up until about, I want to say maybe like 10 years ago, I was always younger than the best footballers in the world. And now I'm older than all the best footballers in the world. And on top of that, the players that I watched growing up, yeah, it's so funny. They are now managers. And soon they're going to start being sporting directors, all of that stuff. Minna, wouldn't you be penalized for all these videos? Don't worry, I have not monetized this video, so I cannot be demonetized. I don't monetize all my videos. That's why, guys, when I do these kind of streams and we watch videos, etc., memberships are important. Super chats are important because I don't be getting anything because of demonetization on this video. Minna, if you had to pick one player, who would you choose? What do you mean? One player that United signs? One player that United signs? I don't know. I feel like United's problems are so big right now. But Leny Yoro, for me, I'm sold. Guys, I'm not going to lie. I am sold on it. By the way, I'm looking at Christian Eriksen's goal, by the way, yeah? He gets the ball from just near the halfway line, takes a touch from a free kick, curls it bottom corner. Who would I take? If I could buy anyone, Camavinga. Camavinga is amazing. He's even better in person. Well, he's even better in person. Mbappe, innit? Who wouldn't take Mbappe? Who wouldn't take Mbappe? But realistically speaking, if I'm being very realistic, and we talk about all the players that United have been linked to, I would take Isak. I would take Isak at Manchester United in a heartbeat. He would change our front line forever for the next couple of years, that's for sure. Rasmus Højlund could be a bench option, and I know a 70 million player shouldn't be on the bench, but he should never have cost that much anyways. So for that reason, for me, yeah, I would take Isak. For me, Isak is more because Isak is more realistic than Mbappe. I don't think the Saudis would ever sell to us anyway. But it's more realistic to get Isak than Mbappe is just joining his dream team. He ain't leaving there anytime soon. You know what would be funny, guys? I know it's very unlikely, but it would be so funny if Real Madrid don't win a Champions League again. Like, imagine Mbappe joining Real Madrid, having won 15 Champions Leagues. They've won how many in the last couple of years? And then they never win one again whilst he's there because he's bad luck. How do I tell people, guys? I cannot believe till today that Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe in a team never ever won a Champions League. Like, how history? We're gonna look back at that in history in 20 years from now. We're gonna look back at that and think, how did that team not win it? I'm not gonna lie. For me, PSG they're not really, like, I don't ever expect them to win the Champions League. But when they had them levels of players playing for them, it's just, I can't believe it. I'm not Chinese, so let that joke go. It's dead. It's dead. I see you making that comment quite often on streams and other videos. It's not funny. No, it's not funny. You lot heard what Anthony said, man. Drop a like if you want. Well, actually, no, you have to drop a like, guys. For the algorithm, it helps the algorithm, of course. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Listen, we'll be back tomorrow. Daily streams, we're here all the time. I might go live EAFC later this evening. Make United great again. We need to win a trophy, at least in the game. We have to win a trophy. So come through as well. Tomorrow we'll be back. I think Saeed will be joining, where we're going to talk about all the Manchester United news as of then. If there's nothing to talk about, we might have to talk about other clubs, guys. I'll be real. There's only so much I can talk about, the same thing over and over again. You know what I'm thinking, guys? During the transfer window, or before the transfer window opens, I might switch it up a bit, and should we do an interactive stream where we do like, we will build a starting 11 of the best players that never won a Champions League, the best players that never won a Premier League. Should we rank like the last 10 transfer windows? Or we could do something like ranking the most expensive Manchester United players over the last 10 years. I'm trying to think of as many ways we can do all these like interactive kind of stuff, especially with the there's still some time for the transfer window to open, of course, and then the Euros is starting like in the next I think it's like 2 weeks, so there's still a bit to talk about outside of those two stuff. I need to get my whiteboard. I might have to do an interactive whiteboard, because right now, guys, I swear the list is about 10 since the season ended, but I think that there's going to probably be 200 on that list. So I need to actually make the list of players that we've been linked to and see how many starting 11s we can build. But guys, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. As I mentioned yesterday on stream, I am going to be streaming more on Twitch for all my gaming content, whether it's Call of Duty, whether it's NBA, whether it's Assassin's Creed, which is probably going to be the first game that I'm going to play on stream, because I started it here on the channel, so I need to finish it off. We finished Spider-Man here on stream back in October as well. That was a fun one here on the channel, but we're going to be doing it on Twitch. So if you are on Twitch, please go ahead. Link is in the bio and in the chat as well. Drop me a follow. FC24 streams will be here on the channel because it's football related, so we're going to do it here. You guys know what it is. Big up to everyone. I hope you have a wonderful evening or night or morning, wherever you're watching from. If there is any Manchester United news tonight, I will be live, but I don't anticipate that there will be. So everyone go enjoy your Wednesday evening. I'm going to go out for a walk and go stretch my legs. You guys know what it is. As always, I appreciate the support. Big up to everyone for the super chats. Big up to everyone for sticking around for the chats, for all the contributions to the debates that we were having here. I'll be back tomorrow. As always, guys, it's your girl, Minna. I'm out. Peace. I need to play the intro.